This, the latest in the series of New Age business briefings brought to you by the SABC, is the Premier of KwaZulu-Natal, the Honourable Senzo Mchunu. Thank you very much again for joining us. And we spoke quite a bit before the break about some of the achievements, some of the progress that's been made, and some of the challenges that you're facing in terms of delivering even faster. Because that was the theme of your speech, wasn't it?
Yes. Well, at this stage, let me go to one of the things that are very closest to the people, especially in KwaZulu-Natal. When we started in 1994, I must say that KwaZulu-Natal was really dark, very, very dark, especially at night. You would see only spots here and there of electricity. But when you fly over KwaZulu-Natal now, you actually get confused where you are because there is light all over. It's quite electrified, this province, 80% now, as I talk. On water as well, we've done real positive strides, 80% as well there, just a little higher than that, including sanitation, of course. But this is strengthened as far as water is concerned by the fact that there are dams that have been built. One of them was opened by the president 3 months ago, Spring Grove, which is going to dish out water to more than 3 districts in the province. Of course, we acknowledge the fact that the north of Tukela River is quite drier, and the rivers there have gone drier than is usual, and therefore we're making those strides. So I'm saying that there really are quite a number of things that, I mean the roads infrastructure in this province, you can't believe. In 1994, you would reach the whole village following 2 wheels because 1 or 2 people happened to have a car in that area and they drove past, and then that becomes the road for people in that whole village. But now you have roads. There are very, very, very few villages that you enter like that. We use roads.
All right. Yeah. What I'd like us to do is to get into some specifics now. And let's start with the tables, because there are a lot of issues that people have. Yes. And this one perhaps might speak to a little bit of what you've been saying now. Table number 12, Sizwe Zulu. If you could stand up, table number 12, Sizwe Zulu, your question.
Morning, Premier. As business people of KwaZulu-Natal, we have seen recently some power cuts. My question is, how is government going to be assisting us as business people into making sure that we've got enough electricity supply? I'm happy that I see the Deputy Minister of Energy is here, as well as Eskom. Can you assist us, Premier, into giving us an assurance that we'll have enough power supply as business people? Thank you.
All right. I mean, that's an important question. And we had this Richards Bay saga, and some economists were saying that we're losing something like 200 million rand a day in terms of exports. So energy is a big question.
Yes.
Let's get a comment from you, and perhaps from Eskom and Department of Energy.
Yeah, Makeba, that's a very important question. You would realize that whereas in the past we tended to hope that there would be economic development in our province, but it wasn't supported by focus on infrastructure. And in this instance, focus on infrastructure. But in this instance, business can actually substantially and realistically grow if it is supported by infrastructure. This is your road networks, this is your water, this is your energy levels. These are the 3 ingredients for real economic development. But of course, you also need agriculture, because no matter how busy you are in your business, you need to eat some fresh vegetables and so on. So it is important. But we have now since realized that, and we're turning things around, hence the focus on infrastructure led by the president with concrete, tangible things. But in this instance, the specific thing on energy. We are quite happy and are welcoming to the developments that are taking place in the country. Your Medupi, in the province itself, Ngagane, in Ladysmith. All these are very good indications that we're going to resolve our problems as far as energy is concerned once and for all, especially considering the fact that we're also exploring alternatives, not just Eskom supplied energy, but looking at solar that is green energy, and we're happy with what is being explored currently, and we're hoping that in the next 2 or 3 years we're going to stop hoping and start seeing things
Real
come to
progress.
fruition. Yes.
I thought you said the Deputy Minister is here, is that correct? Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for the question. Just to add to what the Premier has said, firstly, let me apologize for the power cuts that has been made in the country setting. We promise that we will try our best that it does not happen again. But as the Premier has said, firstly, let me also say that Eskom does have the capacity of producing about 40,000 megawatts, which is quite substantial. That is number one. Two, as DOE, we have a program that is in place which is called the Integrated Resource Plan. This is the plan that talks to the different energy mixes, as the Premier has said, your hydro, your solar, your wind, and all of that, your biomass. We are currently having engagements with the DRC. We have already signed the treaty on hydropower, and that is going to see South Africa as a country with 40,000 megawatts, just that hydropower energy project alone. So I think we are in safe hands. The affairs of the business community should be alleviated. Thank you very much.
Deputy Minister, but just before you sit down, is it perhaps time for us to accelerate the conversation about perhaps creating entrepreneurs, independent providers of energies to join the party?
Yes. Or maybe let me also add that we also have what we call our IPP programs, that is the independent power producers, where we have different producers producing energy for themselves that will add to the national grid. In other words, they will be selling power to government to alleviate the burden on Eskom. So that should also...
When will we see that happen?
It has already started.
Okay.
It has already started. Some projects have been opened already by myself, by the minister.
Okay.
So it is an ongoing program. We will be having our last, it's not actually the last one. I think it will be the 4th window sometimes in November.
Okay.
That is also going to open up for more preferred bidders to be on board.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Do we have a representative from Eskom sitting next to you?
I'm not sure whether there is one.
Oh,
Perhaps
okay.
they could also add.
All right. So,
Thank you very much.
yeah, Richards Bay, what happened? Could we not have foreseen the unfortunate happenings there?
Thank you and good morning to everybody.
If you could just introduce yourself, sir. Thanks.
My name is Sifiso Mazibowa. I'm the General Manager for Eskom in the province. Thank you for the question. The affairs of Richards Bay is actually not an Eskom area of supply. It is a municipality area of supply. But as Eskom having the capacity and the capability to assist, we did assist, and that is what, amongst other things, was able to contribute to the speeding up of the recovery.
Okay.
Then maybe just to add on what my Deputy Minister said, currently we have IPPs that are putting power on the Eskom network, and it's quite substantial. We already have them, and that's making a difference. The other thing that I need to talk to about is the issue of the power cut, more especially the one that we had on Thursday. The phenomenon of wet coal is not a new issue. It has always been there. The question is, why did we not have the power cuts within the last 10 or 15 years ago? The answer is very simple, is that 20 years ago, we had what we call surplus energy. Our margins, or reserve margins, were very high. So as the reserve margins get depleted, even one unit, when it trips, it basically means that you're going to have a problem. And we had to go into that kind of a stage because we need to avoid what we call a total blackout. But like the minister has said, we are doing everything in our power to make sure that we avert that going forward. And also we're building Medupi, as the Premier said, Ingula, and we are basically opening space to anybody else within the form of an IPP. I thank you.
Okay, thank you very much indeed. So he did point to something interesting. He said that it was a municipal issue, not so much Eskom. And I guess this is as true for other areas as well, municipalities. How well are we doing in terms of making sure that municipalities are able to do the things that they're supposed to be doing? Because corruption and all sorts of things keep coming through, and it's affecting service delivery. We've seen service delivery protests and some things not being done properly.
Well, I will ask my colleague Nomsa Dubengwe to answer that one. But before she does so, I would say that we've come a long way with regard to improvement of governance, even at municipal level. Given the fact that 20 years ago, you had no municipality to talk about. I mean, that was not part of our jargon as South Africans, talking about municipalities, except for the so-called white areas, which had no impact at all to the larger majority of our people. But here we are 20 years down the line. You now, I mean, you go to the other side of the mountain, people talk about Municipal. So they now, the concept has settled in everybody that we have 3 spheres of governance, in governance, and it's not about making them memorize that. It's about what they see each municipality doing, turning their things, their lives, delivering on electricity, delivering on water, delivering on basic needs that municipalities are supposed to do. Of course, governance, we still have challenges here and there, but they're dealing with them in relation to KZN. MSM Dube, Ngube.
All right, you know what, we have to take a quick break, and as soon as we come back, we'll get a comment from MEC Dube right after this. Stay with us, and you too at home can be part of this conversation as well.